all, welcome back to my channel Sweet Salt Spicy. First, I would like to wish you all a very happy Pongal. So today we'll be doing the full Pongal meal. There are 7 dishes in this meal. So if you want a particular dish, there are timestamps down in the description. So let's get into the cooking of the Pongal meal. Here I have kept many varieties of vegetables. Have taken peas, groundnuts as well as the lima beans. We'll be preparing the Palakai kootu in this. You can choose any kind of vegetable. Have taken around 9 to 11 vegetables over there. And this is the broad beans, stir fry. For that I have kept 2 chilies for that. And this is pumpkin. For that I have kept 2 chilies. And this is yam. And that is the salad. I have soaked the tamarind in water for Palakai kootu, Rasam as well as the yam fry. Here I have washed and cleaned the coriander, mint, curry leaves, and these chilies are for the Vada. I have kept some garlic and ginger for the Vada, and will be preparing all this one after the other. So in this pot we'll be preparing the Pongal and have boiled the half liter milk in this, and have kept Vada tomato cooked for rasam. Here that is cashews and as well as raisins for Pongal, and I have soaked the Bengal gram for the Vada. Here that is the tuvar dal with tomato I have already cooked for the Palakai kootu. This is the kind of tradition what we prepare for the Pongal. So first it's sweet Pongal. For the pot we'll be applying the turmeric around the pot, and we'll keep the ashes, that is vibhuti and turmeric as well as the kumkum. The same you have to continue around the pot. This is our tradition and we continue this as it is. So once that is done, we'll be tying a thread around the neck of the pot, and we'll be tying the turmeric roots as well as the banana around the neck of the pot. So usually this will be done on the firewoods in the villages, and here I have already cleaned the jaggery and have kept it to boil, and have soaked the rice as well as the fried moong dal for the Pongal. So once this is done, after tying, I'll be adding milk to the pot. As it is said that we shouldn't keep the empty pot on the stove, so I'll be adding the milk to the pot and I'll be keeping the pot on the stove. Once the milk is boiling, I'll be adding the rest of that. Here I've taken 1 cup of moong dal and 2 cups of rice in that cup. I'll be adding the hot water to the pot. Hot water helps us to cook fast. So I've already added the milk over there, and let this come to the rolling boil. Once that is done, we'll be adding the rice as well as the moong dal to the pot. So while adding this, you have to be a bit careful, as the hot water or the milk might splash on you. So after around 5 to 8 minutes, the rice has been cooked. So here I'll be adding the jaggery syrup to the pot and keep stirring so that it doesn't form any lumps. So for this I'll be adding around 2 to 3 tablespoons of ghee. Be generous in using ghee for the sweet Pongal. This is the kind of tempering for the sweet Pongal. Then I'll be adding, as the ghee gets heated up, I'll be adding the cashews. Once the cashews, you feel that cashews has been fried, then you can add the raisins. Do not add raisins before, as they get fried up very quick. Now I'll be adding the raisins. Fry this. You can just see the raisins gets swollen up. So once that is done, we'll be adding this tempering to the sweet pongal, and that is done. So I'll be adding this to the pongal pot. And stir it. It looks so yummy over here. The color as well as the aroma of the pongal. So this is done. The next is Palakai kootu. It is also called as Pongal Kodumbu in Tamil. For this we require chopped onions as well as tomatoes. As I cooked tomato in the dal, I don't require tomatoes for this. I'm chopping it for the yam curry. Here I've added a pan and I'm added around 2 tablespoons of oil. For tempering, I'm adding around 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds and 1 teaspoon of jeera, 2 pinch of hing. After the mustard seeds and jeera splatter, you can add the chopped onion as well as the curry leaves and saute it. Now we'll be adding the groundnut. Then goes the varieties of vegetables into it. I have used many varieties of vegetables. It looks so colorful and yummy. Give a good stir, and meanwhile that is getting cooked, we'll be preparing rasam also. I've added around 2 tablespoons of salt and sauteing. Let this get cooked. Then we'll be adding the water as well as the tur dal. Let this get cooked. So now I'll be adding rasam. Now I'll be cooking rasam. So for the 1 ladle of tur dal as well as tomato, I've added tamarind water, rasam powder, salt, and give a good stir. Rasam is a kind of tonic which helps you out in digestion, as we use lot of pepper as well as jeera. And for the tempering, I have used around 1 tablespoon of oil and 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds, dry chilies, hing as well as garlic as well as curry leaves. While frying this, you get a very good aroma. Once this is done, you can just add to the rasam water and allow the water to boil. Once you get the froth, you can just switch it off. You need not allow the rasam to boil. Not. Here I'll be adding the peas as well as the lima here, because this gets cooked very soon. No need to cook for a long while. Give a good stir. Now I'll be adding the sambar powder. This is a homemade sambar powder. and give a good mix to it. And I'll be adding the cooked tuvar dal as well as the tomato which has been mashed into that. Allow this to boil. After 5 to 6 minutes, I'll be adding the tamarind water to it, and again I'll be allowing it to boil. Once that is done, the Palakai kootu is ready. Let us allow this to boil for another 2-3 minutes. You can just see the froth in the rasam. So this is done. This is the final stage. You can add some chopped coriander. And the next dish is broad beans stir fry. It's a simple dish but healthy. You can just add around 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil to a pan. Add mustard seeds. Once that mustard seeds flutter, you can just add urad dal. I've added around 2 teaspoons of urad dal here. You have to wait until the dal turns golden brown. Meanwhile, you can just see the Palakai kootu has been boiling and getting ready. To this pan, I've added around a handful of chopped onions as well as curry leaves and few garlic pods and 2 green chilies split, and give a good stir to it. As the broad beans are very tender, you need not to put it in the pressure cooker. You can just fry it in the pan and allow this to cook, and it gets cooked very soon as well as it tastes really very good. So here I'll be adding salt and saute this well and allow this to cook for around 2 to 3 minutes. I'm adding just a pinch of sugar to the broad beans. This allows the beans not to change its color, as well as it adds a good taste to the fry. Here the Palakai kootu has been boiling and it's done. Finally, I have given the Palakai kootu a handful of coriander leaves to it and switched off. Next is the sweet pumpkin stir fry. Even this is a very healthy stir fry. We need to take the yellow pumpkin as well as the ash gourd at least twice to thrice in a month. So to this pan, I'll be adding around 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds, 2 teaspoons of urad dal, and half a teaspoon of jeera, and the chopped onions. After the mustard seeds, jeera splutter, as well as the curry leaves, give a good stir to it. I've added around 2 green chilies and garlic pods. Saute this. Add the yellow pumpkin to it. You need not add any water to this as it is very tender. It gets cooked very soon. Just close the lid, allow this to cook by itself. Keep stirring. In the meanwhile, you can just prepare some other dishes. I've just added around less than half cup of water to cook it fast. Meanwhile, my broad beans is also ready. The next is yam stir fry. So this I've cut the yam into small pieces, added to the cooker and pressurized for 2 to 3 whistles. I've added little bit of water, around half cup of water, and turmeric powder. Allow this to pressure for 2 to 3 whistles. Back to the broad beans. It's been done over here. The next is salad. Here I have chopped a cucumber, onion, tomatoes, as well as the coriander, and added a little bit of salt to it. It's really good to take raw vegetables. So here is one of that. And at last, for the back to the pumpkin stir fry, I've just added 2 tablespoons of jaggery to it. The last dish what we are going to see is the vada, the most favorite for everyone. So for this vada, I'll be adding ginger garlic to the blender, dry chilies as well as the green chilies, and handful of mint leaves and curry leaves. Now we'll be grinding this in a coarse paste, as well as after that I'll be adding the soaked chana dal. I have drained the chana dal and I'll be adding to the blender. It's been done. So here my pumpkin stir fry is also ready to serve. So I have just added the coriander leaves to it. The next is yam stir fry. So the yam stir fry is yam has been cooked. So to a pan I've added mustard seeds, urad dal, chopped onions, curry leaves. I'll be adding the tomatoes. Tomato gives a kind of gravy texture to the dish. I'm added the cooked yam. Here I've added salt, around 2 tablespoons of salt. Give a good mix. Close the lid. Allow this to boil. Meanwhile, we'll prepare the vada. To a pan, I've added around 2 to 3 cups of oil. Again, back to the yam fry, I've added around 2 tablespoons of the chili powder, and I'll be adding the tamarind paste. Once you are doing the yam curry, it is must ensure that you have to use the tamarind water so that you don't get the kind of itchiness in your throat once you eat the yam. Here I'm adding the lima beans also to the yam curry here. This gives a good taste to the curry. You can use this for chapati, dosa also. Give a good mix. Allow this to boil. At last, you can just add around 1 tablespoon of jaggery to that. It's optional. I'm preparing vada here. I've taken the coarse paste of the vada, just flatten it on my palm, and I'm dripping it into the oil. The oil should be in medium hot. It shouldn't be too hot, not too less hot. So once it is done on the one side, you can just flip it over to the other side, and you can just take the vadas in this color, that's golden color. I usually prepare vadas at the last because we can serve it hot. It's nice to eat when it is hot. Now I'll be serving it to the banana leaf. At least during festivals, we should try to eat on a banana leaf. It is really healthy and it enhances the taste of the dishes also.